Hi guys, so I wanted to talk a little bit about what's been going on with my health just because I'm feeling really alone right now. And I know that I can't be the only person who's ever gone through this. So ever since I was pregnant with my oldest 10 years ago, I was about 28, 29 weeks, I would guess, pregnant. And I started having what I've always called dizzy spells, and I'll probably refer to them as that, even though I now know that they are aura seizures. I started having these dizzy spells about 29-ish weeks pregnant. I had extreme preeclampsia and my son had to be taken out via C-section at 33 weeks. He was only 3 pounds, 7 ounces. So it was majorly affecting both of us. We were probably a lot closer to not surviving than what we realized. But we made it. We're both healthy. Okay, he's healthy. So anyways, I've been having these dizzy spells since then. I've had 2 more kids since then. I didn't notice it getting worse or more severe with my second pregnancy. But I did notice with my third pregnancy towards the end, things were getting pretty bad. It was every day I was peeing my pants, having these dizzy spells. And to explain what my version of the dizzy spell is, I know it can be different for everybody, but what happens for me is I get a really hot feeling in like the pit of my stomach and it spreads out to my limbs really quickly. I also get really nauseous and weak, like I'm gonna fall. I get a strong deja vu feeling. I smell like the hospital or like the chemicals they use to clean like the OR or something. My first thought is hospital when I smell it. And then what else happens? My seeing stars is what I call it. It's just these little white lights shaped like a Tic Tac, and they either zigzag in my upper peripheral vision or they'll fall. It's pretty scary, but it only lasts 30 to 45 seconds probably. And so, yeah, I had those for a long time. And then so November of 2017, my husband was at elk camp and I was home alone with the kids. He's usually gone for about 10 days for elk camp, and he was gone maybe 2 or 3 days, and I had a checkup with my primary care physician because I had started taking Adderall for my ADHD. And so it was like 2 months after I'd started taking it, and this was a checkup to see how it was going. And I went in, it was a normal day. I was feeling extra tired, but I had a bonus baby with me, one of my daycare kiddos. He was about 1 year old at the time. And I remember sitting back in the chair rather than laying on the bed and having one of my dizzy spells. And then the next thing I know, the doctor's shaking me on the shoulder, wake up, wake up. And I remember being like, why? I don't want to wake up. Why? I was having a dream. Leave me alone. But I felt the cold pavement or cold tile floors. Come on, Trask. You gotta watch out, puppy. Go lay down. The cold floor helped wake me up. And I just remember being like in the middle of this dream. Like it was vivid, it was real, like I was right there. And we were like 4-wheeling in the truck in the mud with friends. It wasn't anything bad. It didn't feel like I was dreaming for like a minute or two, that's for sure. Go on, Trask. And so, yeah, she said, why didn't you tell me you had narcolepsy? And how come you didn't tell me this was happening? And I just kind of like, I don't know what narcolepsy is, and this has never happened before, so I don't know. And she's like, okay, well, the ambulance is on their way and you're going to the hospital because I don't know what's going on either. And so I was able to call my mom, and she was allowed to drive me to the emergency room, thank goodness, and help take care of the bonus baby until his parents picked him up. But yeah, I was told to follow up with a cardiologist and a neurologist. I did follow up with a cardiologist who couldn't find anything wrong. I did not follow up with a neurologist because I couldn't afford it. We have high deductible insurance and just could not afford all the doctor appointments on top of the emergency room visit and everything else going on. So I ended up not following up with the neurologist. Looking back, honestly, I don't regret it. I had only fainted one time at that point. And so that's where that ended. In the following months, I think within the next 3 months, I had 2 more of these dizzy spells with fainting. And so in the next few months, I had 2 more dizzy spells where I dizzy spell and fainted. Luckily, I was in the recliner both times. So I kind of just fell asleep and fell over, and like I had confirmation that it happened because I have security cameras and I was able to watch it. I bit my tongue really hard. Again, it happened the first time. It happened the 3rd time. And then I went probably close to a year without one. Maybe not, maybe like 6 months or something. It was about a year and a half ago that I had my last one. And what happened then was I was in the shower and I started feeling pretty lightheaded and like really tired all of a sudden. And I thought maybe I was gonna have a dizzy spell. So I got out of the shower, I made it to my bed where I fell over backwards on the bed. Just kind of like looked like I was laying down for a nap. So luckily I didn't get hurt that time either. Luckily I didn't pee my pants because I had just gone to the bathroom before I got in the shower. That one, yeah, I know it didn't last long. I wasn't recording it, so I don't know for sure, but I don't believe I've ever had convulsions. And then 13 days ago, because tomorrow's Friday, but it was a Friday night. We had taken the kids over to my mother-in-law's house to visit. I had had a beer, and about an hour later, I was sitting across from my husband on like a bar height table and chairs set. And I whispered to him, I'm having a dizzy spell. And he's never really seemed to take it seriously. Like, I know he knows I'm having them, but that's not a big deal because he's never seen me faint. This time I woke up on the floor with them trying to wake me up and me trying to tell them, leave me alone, I just want to sleep. And I woke up to my 9-year-old screaming and crying because he just witnessed his mom fall out of a chair and land on her head. And I woke up to being covered in pee because I had peed my pants. So I think it's probably good that it happened in front of my husband so that he now takes it a little bit more seriously when I say I'm having a dizzy spell. But yeah, the next day, okay, so when I fell, I've never had pain in the back of my head from that fall, but the left half of my face was completely just like tingly, like numbish. It's hard to explain. It just felt so off. It wasn't like an extreme feeling. It was like maybe I was more tired on that side of my face, or my vision was there. I could see things fine, but it was just like my eye was sore or tired, or I don't know. I just felt off. And honestly, I haven't felt 100% back to normal since then. I'm still dizzy every day and stuff like that. So following day on Saturday, we ended up going out on the boat and just having a good day. I was a little off, a little bit of a headache, still pretty dizzy, and a little nauseous throughout the day, but I was okay. We were just relaxing on the boat fishing. We come home, and that night I had a really hard time going to sleep. Like, I don't usually stay up till 11 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock at night. So it was more of a struggle than usual for me to go to sleep. And I remember laying there, and all of a sudden I got hit with a dizzy spell. And I remember the dream that it's like being thrown into the dream and then thrown out of the dream when it happens, when I do the fainting thing. So I know I did the fainting thing. I remember the dream, which I don't usually remember them like as vivid and real as they are. I remember the first one. I remember this last one. Didn't make any sense, but it wasn't necessarily a bad dream. None of these have been that I know of. But so yeah, that's what happened in the dream. And that's when, like, ever since then, like, the dizziness was worse, and the nausea and the headache, it's like the headache and the nausea have been like in a wave. It's up and down and up and down. It hasn't been too extreme. Thank goodness. I'm grateful for that, but not fun. Let's put it that way. Ever since then, I've had the dizziness and the nausea and the headache on and off. That is when, after the fall Friday night at my mother-in-law's house, I decided to do some more research, try and figure this out. I joined a narcolepsy with Moms with Narcolepsy group on Facebook, and I put in my symptoms. And the reason I was thinking narcolepsy is because I'm going into what I believe is REM, the really vivid dreams. And that's what my doctor said when she saw it happen 2.5 years ago. So this entire time I was thinking, okay, this is narcolepsy. What do I do now? And so I joined this mom's group, Facebook, and I posted on there what's been going on. Everybody's like, no, you don't have narcolepsy. That's not narcolepsy. We don't faint. And we don't have the aura. And they're like, you need to look up aura seizures, and you're having seizures. And probably like 30 responses telling me either, no, it's not narcolepsy, or you're definitely having seizures, or look up aura seizures. So that's when I called the neurologist. Actually, okay, I called like 3 neurologists, and they all said you have to get a referral from your doctor, even though your insurance allows you to go to a specialist. So made an appointment to see my doctor. He said, I don't usually say this, but I think you're right. You're probably having seizures. So go see the neurologist. I got my golden ticket, the referral, and went and saw, okay, because of COVID-19, I had to video conference with her for like half hour, 45 minutes. She seems like a great doctor, and I'm excited to have her. She's ordered me all these tests, which I will be doing in the next week. I have one tomorrow that they're gonna try their damnedest to trigger an epileptic seizure. Like they're totally depriving me of sleep. They said I can't sleep more than 4 hours, and no caffeine, and these are just things in my head that are screaming seizure. I'm gonna have a seizure. So we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna have a really hard time not going to sleep, I think, because when my body decides it's time for sleep, it just shuts down and there's nothing I can do about it. So we'll see how this goes. But tomorrow morning is my EEG, which is where they put on this little thing with like 30 sensors on my head or something like that. And they just monitor me for an hour. To see what's going on electrically in my brain. Next week, I will have my MRI, which I wish was sooner because of all the dizziness and everything. I felt like maybe the numbness that I had on the side of my head could have been a sign of a concussion or something more serious from that fall. But this is what's been going on. The things that are kind of off to me are that I'm going into REM, or these vivid dreams when I fall, and the fact that I don't have convulsions. My doctor said, yeah, it's not super common that people don't have convulsions, but it definitely happens. She didn't seem to mention anything about the REM or the vivid dreams. So if there's somebody else out there who can relate to me, please let me know. Send me a comment or a message or something like that. I would love to hear from you. She did officially diagnose me with epilepsy due to preeclampsia or eclampsia. And that's where I'm at. I will update if I get any test results that give me a reason to update. And I hope to hear from somebody soon. Thank you.